Made in Taiwan means. Can I finish the fucking point?
Why are you reminiscing about a time? It's gone. That's not it now.
Can I finish the point or not?
Is it just okay? Take a trip down memory lane. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. Made in Taiwan means it'll last 1 week after the fucking warranty period.
Is that the whole fucking thought?
Yeah, but like, whose fault is that?
Oh my god!
Is that Taiwanese people's fault, or is it the fault of the people who exported the jobs that probably look like you, Ozzy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
AJ bringing his subtle racism in. I see.
Yeah. Look like me. You fucking idiot. People who look white, bro.
Well, I mean, last time I checked, it wasn't Asian or Indian people. We just got a light-skinned black president who a lot of black people don't even think was black. So,
God, he's going back there again. He's going back there again.
Which
It's
Asian
so
people caused all of these manufacturing?
You're always going to low-hanging fruit.
Which Asian people?
It's like you seem intelligent.
Can you answer my question, Ozzy? Okay,
No,
Dingo
I'm
baby.
just gonna say-
Okay, bro. Okay, Dingo baby guy with the kangaroos. Listen, which Asians or Indians or black people exported those manufacturing jobs to these countries that you now think weren't as good as made in America? Simple question. Because last time I checked, it was all white people.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Hold on. Companies are owned by a whole mix of races. It's stock. We all own some of it.
Don't legislate, Flo. It was the politicians.
Shut the fuck up, brown man. Give me my white privilege.
Okay.
Thank you. We as the consumer make the ultimate decision, and we also carry the ultimate bag. So if we have opted to purchase cheaper foreign-produced goods, which we have largely, it's because it's what we prefer, what we value. When we are not given that option, when that's removed from an option, we can then buy less goods at a higher cost. That's the only option.
True.
Tariffs do end up coming out of the American consumer, the home country consumer. Yes, the tax is placed on the importer, but it's all passed through to the consumers. So either way, you're having a higher standard of living. So it's wild to me that people who, I think everybody agrees we've got too much taxes, right? But tariffs aren't a way to not pay taxes and have someone else pay them. We still pay them. It's still a tax. Instead of arguing that tariffs are good, we should be saying like, all this shit
yet
bad.
Another way to shift the burden onto the consumer.
Always. Yep.
Yeah. So now that I'm finally set up, can I just answer, what made in Taiwan means to me?
Let me interrupt real quick, and then I'm giving it over to you, Nanfan. I have now set a goal for 10 super chats. If you want to continue beyond 2 a.m., that's in 15 minutes. If we can go for a whole nother hour, I'm happy to do it. But that means you have to hit the goal. All right? If you don't hit the goal, I shut down in 15 minutes, and I'm happy to go home. Nanfan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so when I hear made in Taiwan, I think that U.S. consumers are getting a better deal. We're able to import something for a lower price, while our own domestic resources are able to do something else, able to do something presumably higher productivity that consumers value more, and that pays people more because higher productivity that's associated with higher wages, and it's an overall win-win.
So can you demonstrate that?
The shoe. You had the shoe. Remember the shoe story you gave, Nanfan?
Is this a Disney movie?
Making shoes versus making something better or doing something better.
I mean, I think I might have used as an example a comparator advantage before, which is, it's also relevant here. But I mean, obviously, right, if we're importing something, presumably consumers are choosing to import something because it's cheaper and or higher quality or some combination of the two. It's their preference to buy the imported good. And what that means is obviously we're not producing that good domestically, but the resources that are would have been producing that good domestically are now freed up to do other things.
Like what? What are you
like
describing?
service sector jobs. We're a big
opportunity
cost.
No. We did it here in Australia.
McDonald's. You get McDonald's.
If I could. Australia is so rich. Australia is so rich in resources. We could manufacture everything. We decided to become the intelligent country. We'll make satellites. We'll make and we'll also do tourism.
You guys live on your coast.
Hang on, bro. I'm talking. What's wrong with you, bro?
AJ, back in the back. This is no.
AJ was right though.
Yes,
gave
but
up-
he still has to sit in the back because the interruptions are driving me nuts. And Ozzy, I'm gonna
Justice
interrupt you for a
Justice for
moment.
AJ.
You gotta buy him back. Trib
hell
one
no.
with the big 5 says, and actually, I'm going to add Trib ones into the goal, so I'll give you those 2 freebies because you drop these as soon as I drop the goal. Part 1, reality check. America is the way it is because Americans wanted it that way. The chaos happening now is because a minority group has the helm. And then part 2 is what's the actual end goal for the minority group? What does MAGA want? They want insulation. They don't want diversity. Is that better for America?
How can you say they want isolation when they are at the same time saying they want expansionism by taking over countries?
I mean, I think when it comes
Oh,
to
right.
trade, they want
Yeah, do it.
isolation. They want to make basically everything ourselves. Seems like that's the rhetoric coming from Trump.
Well, we really don't want to.
Isolate and
How do you say
expand. Yes.
isolation though whenever we're taking in like millions of aliens?
We don't want to make this shit ourselves, though. We know that because nobody wants manufacturing jobs. Not one person on this panel or in the chat is telling me that they have or that they're aspiring to a manufacturing job that they can't find. Not one person.
That is the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life.
Are you looking for a manufacturing job because you feel like it would be an improvement from your current position?
I can tell you that my father-in-law.
Hang on. When I was younger, I'm an old man now. When I was younger, yes.
Okay, the
I
answer is
wanted
no.
to
There's
make
a lot
shit.
of people here and a
I
lot of
wanted
people
to make
watching.
shit.
There's a lot
No,
of
the
options.
answer is not no. The answer is not no.
I know.
As a younger
Yes, it
man,
No, I'm not
man,
asking
all I
younger man.
wanted,
I'm not
if I could
asking
finish,
that, dude.
if I could finish my statement.
Can't finish. You're about to answer something else. I didn't ask that question. I asked you now. You're not looking for one. No, you're not.
There are
Not
no
now, no.
machinist jobs anymore. There are no machinist jobs. You can't find a machinist
Oh
job
God,
in
Rocky's
this
still
country
here.
no more. Yeah, I'm still here. Okay,
K2,
one of
keep
the
on
reasons
trucking with the big 10. K2,
Oh,
keep on
K2, good to
trucking.
see you, bro.
With
I
the
need
Big
to be-
10, the Japanese proved that a nuclear bomb is less deadlier than diversity.
That's why they don't
That's
let
a weird-
anybody in their country
That's
anymore.
based.
You won't
That's a
find a
weird
piece
comment.
of trash in Japan or a non-Japanese person living in Japan. Prove me
Rocky,
wrong.
I'm going to put you backstage for just a second. We got Spicoli on board. This will be short and sweet. It always is. Go ahead, Spicoli. 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 Hey, are you high?
I always am. Hey, Low
on.
State, I want a manufacturing job.
Mhm.
I have a
And also,
manufacturing. You know what I like
also,
to manufacture? I manufacture and I grow cannabis. I help grow cannabis out here. So is cannabis considered a manufacturing job?
No, if you're a sole proprietor and you have a farm, a grow operation that's yours, you're not somebody who's looking for employment as a manufacturing employee. No, you don't qualify.
Yeah, so
No,
if
I
could
work
flow
for
state,
I work for people,
Okay.
but cannabis growing is manufacturing. We
Look,
manufacture
Macaulay.
weed.
Are you looking for a job snapping cell phones together?
I'm pretty
when
sure
you're
that's
16 years
farming.
old, yes, you
You're
are.
gonna have to stick to
You'll take any
manufacturing
job you
Oh
can
bullshit.
my God!
No,
when you're
not
16 in
really.
Australia and America, you work at McDonald's or Walmart or Costco. What are you talking about? You don't go into a warehouse and create Apple iPhones for 5 cents a day. There's not
No,
suicide
you
nets
grow
around your
them
building.
on your iPhone farm.
There were guys who were running the machines that punch out fucking panels for cars, right? There were guys who were doing that, and they were grateful
were.
for it. Yeah, they were grateful
they?
for it.
Then why did we move it
Yeah.
all overseas?
No, that's
Well,
what
You guys
manufacturing
have,
jobs would.
hold on.
because you wanted cheap
have
shit.
8 minutes.
Okay.
8 minutes to get 6 more in the door, or we all
Get up,
say
hurry up
goodnight.
and do it so she stops interrupting us.
I will
put in the
keep
donos.
interrupting for
Yeah.
the whole.
I'm doing your
last
job for you
8
faster.
minutes.
Yeah.
Kieran,
Sarah, are you
you
still?
can't tell me they were
you
thankful
still
for it
sa-
because I'll tell you they weren't. And we're
I'm gonna put Dusty and Honkin.
Oh, really?
Sarah, are you
Really?
still celibate? Sarah, are you still celibate?
Listen,
I'm
Flo.
gonna put Spicoli backstage for
Right,
only
what the
until I
bring
get a
Rocky
hold of her.
back up.
Just want to ask this question of Flo. Do you think it was a tragedy when Detroit lost their manufacturing? Was that a
A
tragedy?
tragedy? No.
Yes. Yes, it was. There's all these guys lost their jobs, bro. What's wrong with you?
real quick.
I have an economics
That
degree.
happens
I
to
think
any
about
economy.
things like an economist. I don't think it's a tragedy. I think it's a tragedy that they weren't efficient enough, that they couldn't keep up and compete in a global marketplace. But I don't.
So right now,
Number one, manufacturing Detroit isn't what completely
Yeah, that's the
destroyed
most
it.
base thing I've heard Flo ever say.
So real quick,
Yeah,
we
Flo
want
and
to
I
make
are-
sure all.
All right,
We
hold
shouldn't
on.
Flo and I are
Since
Flo and I are finally
non-fon,
gonna get
hold on, shut up. Since non-fon
Okay,
sent
calm
in the
down.
$10, just to have me say non-fon for the win. Non-fon, the floor is yours.
Sure. So first of all, we shouldn't even accept the premise that, all these jobs were offshored. Another suspect is productivity growth, right? Manufacturing has just gotten increasingly automated during the entire China shock period. Manufacturing output was going up. We were just making more things, but manufacturing employment was going down because we just got better at manufacturing stuff with less workers. So even if you tariff all these things and we try to onshore manufacturing, that's just not going to create many jobs because we are just so efficient at making these things nowadays.
Exactly.
Right. That's
And
what
Trying to bring
happened.
back manufacturing of the
was
60s.
probably, yeah, most of the manufacturing jobs were probably not lost due to trade, but were lost due to productivity increases. The highest estimate I've seen for jobs lost due to trade is 43% versus 60% of productivity increases. There might be other factors as well, obviously, but additionally, I mean, we say is it a tragedy where because Detroit lost everyone in Detroit lost their jobs? Well, in a sense, yes, but we have to think about the nation as a whole, right? So trade has localized losses, but broad-based benefits. So every consumer in the U.S. is able to get cheaper goods because we import things that we previously used to manufacture in Detroit. Now, obviously, there are losers from trade in that people in Detroit lost their jobs, but overall, the country as a whole wins. There are more winners than losers. What we need is probably a better tax system and redistribution system to take, from the winners and give to the losers if we want a more equal society, if we want those people to not be totally screwed over.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
I would argue some other things happened to Detroit. I would just
I just wanted to ask you, don't you think that the innovative corporate entities kind of changed the market in the sense that when product innovation became so core here in the United States, especially, that the engineering or the manufacturing aspect would have been more cheap to export, so it would then in turn be more profitable for those innovative companies? I feel like you're missing out on that point, because there's a lot of Americans in these what we call flyover states that are upset that they're not getting paid simply because they'd get paid more or have medical, dental, vision insurance. And instead you can have these jobs exported to people who you don't have to pay a fraction of the employment wages, right? So I feel like what you said is entirely accurate, but again, we're missing out on how we kind of just shafted the people here.
And before anybody
certainly,
answers that, K2 Keep on Trucking comes in with a big 5 just to say, how about all the people that look signing up for manufacturing jobs at GM and Jeep in Toledo?
Yeah, so okay, I'll follow up on that, and I'll also respond to AJ and to Nonfon. So imagine you're 16 years old. Imagine you're a 16-year-old boy. You're coming through high school. You aren't academically gifted. You have an opportunity to earn a living for your family, your future wife and children, by working in a factory, stamping out panels for GM or Ford or whatever, and they took that away from you.
That's an irrelevant point, though, because most manufacturing
It's not
jobs
irrelevant, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not irrelevant.
No,
So
most factory
explained to
jobs
you-
aren't going to let 16-year-olds on the line. That's firstly,
Well,
just
that's-
You have
safety concerns.
Insurance issues.
Yeah.
I already explained to you, you say they took it away from you. They, in a lot of cases, is productivity increases, us getting better at making stuff. And that's an amazing thing. That's how growth happens. That's how increases in wealth happen. That's an amazing thing. Obviously, there are localized losses from automation in the same way.
Yeah,
There are
well,
localized
I'll tell
losses
you.
from trade, because trade is just another type of technology. Trade
What-
is all
No,
trade
but
is.
but
it's a
trade
way
isn't
to-
everything.
it's a
Trade
way
isn't
to
everything.
indirectly produce the things that by first
we
producing
had a
export.
Stop interrupting him.
And then
Sorry,
trade.
sorry.
So yeah, just
Not
like there are
interrupt.
localized
I'm kidding.
losses from technology, there are localized losses from trade, because trade is just a form of technology. It's just a way to indirectly produce things that we import by producing things that we're more efficient at and exporting them, and then using the foreign currency to pay for things to import. And actually, there's a basic comparative advantage model that shows there are both countries gain from trade, meaning both countries end up with more of the goods that they want than they could if they just made everything themselves.
For sure.
So
That's
you-
why
I'll respond to that. I'll respond with an Australian example. We make great wine over here in Australia, the most underrated wine in the world. We won awards for everything. We had salesmen went to France and said, buy our wine. And they said, why? And we said, because it's better than yours. And they said, yeah, but if we buy your wine, we're going to shut down all these communities who make wine over here. So no, thank you. They could have made a buck. They could have, hang on, they could have got good quality wine at a cheap price, but they said no to save their communities.
No,
So
they just held their
different-
communities back and prevented their communities from getting more efficient. You wouldn't bring back blacksmiths because there's so many good blacksmithing jobs for kids.
Yeah.
This is how innovation works.
You support slave labor.
I support your mom.
Oh Lord.
We all support slave labor. We're all talking through these devices.
Yeah.
Tariffs are also used in competition when a country uses slave labor and Americans aren't allowed to use slave labor.
Rocky, it does not free the slaves. All this does. It does two things. Tariffs do two things. At the end of the day, they increase consumer prices.
Slavery.
They increase consumer prices for the domestic country, and they increase government revenue for the domestic country. However,
they also do a third
increase,
thing.
Shut up. They increase they increase government revenue less than they increase consumer prices. So it's a net loss. Not all of that loss is recaptured somewhere else. There's just straight loss that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
The third thing tariffs do is they make America great again.
You're so dumb. Stay in Australia.
That is the dumbest shit.
No, I'm coming to America. I'm coming to America.
No, the only point of the tariffs is to offset the near $4 trillion they're about to give away to rich people in tax cuts.
And they're not even going to raise that much revenue, but yeah.
FG, here's my question to you. All the smart people like you, FG, why don't you guys run for office? Why don't you guys fix our country?
Why don't you fuck off?
Oh, here's the Aussie guy coming in.
We're overtaxed.
The invasion of privacy it takes to run for office.
Everybody in this country is overtaxed.
Public life is, not for some people.
Well, define overtax.
Define overtax. All right.
Well,
I can.
Fiery Patriot comes in with a big 2, says 4 doors more. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Saint comes in with another 2. Next one for the back in 2 minutes. You choose. Panel, take a vote. Who do you want to send it back?
No, you choose. Cheater ass.
It's gonna be AJ. He's getting on my nerves.
Man, AJ's my dog. I just brought it.
It's only 2 minutes.
AJ's okay. AJ's
I missed you, AJ.
He's interrupting everyone. K2 keep on trucking with a big 5. When your car comes from Mexico, almost Mexican shit in them when they're on the rail from the car hauler friends. What?
Don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what that means. But K2, love you, brother.
I appreciate the $5. Team Philip going ahead and completing the goal for us for the evening. Thank you so much with the tomato. And K2 keep on trucking says, I mean homeless Mexicans riding the rails. So when your car comes in from Mexico and the homeless Mexicans riding the rails are shitting in them on the way in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And I get to choose one more. Rocky, since you are kind of useless on this panel. And since
Okay.
Since we hit the goal, you guys bought the final hour. We're going to move the final hour over to the gauntlet. All right. So those of you still watching on the Raging Tomatoes side, start clicking that link in there. It will take you over to the gauntlet. You have exactly 2 minutes to do so before I end the Raging Tomatoes stream. It will redirect you anyways, but we can't trust the redirects. So go ahead, just click the link. Uncle Guns is dropping the link left and right in the chat for you. You cannot miss it. Don't be stupid. Get over there, and you got this. All right, let's bring back Rocky. I think Rocky left. He got tired of me dunking him. I mean, he's so butthurt about this damn video about this little girl asking some guy about going to the moon and shit. I don't even know. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes and Raging Tomato shuts down. You got to move to the gauntlet. All right, back to you guys.
You kind of also told Bucky he was useless, which is like a kick in the balls for a bloke, right? That's just saying.
Well, okay, no offense, but he'll sit here on panel and he randomly is like, and then every once in a while he wants to interrupt to take the conversation back to something that doesn't make, it's not part of it's completely off base. Like we could be talking about Africa, and then he'd be like, yeah, the stuff going on in Michigan with the cars is crazy. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's just he's always all over the place.
Well, I'm going to be really random. Conversation for another day, because we're almost finished now. I would love to hear from Non-Fon about his work history and academic history. I would just, no shade. I'm just curious because opinions are based on experience and knowledge, and I've heard his knowledge. I'd like to hear his experience. Maybe not now.
You guys always ask for each other's credentials.
Weird credentialism, yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
address your credentials before you ask other people their credentials, because it's kind of obnoxious, Let's be honest. Because once people address their credentials, you judge them for that.
He's trying to make an authority. That's why.
No, I'm not. I'll do it.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's by definition what you're trying to do. It's like, I know more than you because I've done this thing.
So experience isn't a thing?
Experience is a thing, but you're saying I know more than you, other than
you just refuted your own argument, bro.
Well, no,
experience, I'm saying experience is a thing, except
experience is a thing. It's not the only thing that can influence how you're making a decision or how you're.
I never said that. I said experience and knowledge.
Exactly. Knowledge is higher than your experience and knowledge.
Is it really? Is knowledge? So Sarah, is knowledge higher than experience?
I think it depends on where you're placing that measurement. Like, I'm gonna mute. Whose doggy is?
Yeah, it's mine.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you for a second because I love doggies, but that one's kind of going off a little bit. And again, we closed down the Raging Tomato sign, so hopefully you're all making the move over. I think that experience is very important when it comes to especially making decisions. I think that's vital in decision making. Certainly you can have knowledge, but when you experience something and you can learn from your past and yada yada and apply that to a current scenario, I think experience is very important. But if I'm going to take a test, my experience doesn't fucking matter. Like, I want to have the knowledge to do so.
Yeah. You can know all about how to have sex, but that don't mean you're going to be good at it when you try it the first time.
What if I know a lot about trade? What if I read a lot about trade economics?
Well, I actually came back to address you and Flo about this because I'm not a rocket surgeon like you guys. So
rocket surgeon.
What the fuck is a rocket surgeon?
I don't even know how to speak. I'm so stupid. But it's just I understand the words that you're saying, but when you're taking when we're all working, like I hear we'll be globalists and we're gonna work together, but I'm also hearing there are enemies. Doesn't really seem like this is for my benefit. I don't really give a fuck about any of you people, right? You're just my ant farm. I don't give a fuck about none of you. I think it's funny to come up here, make a few jokes. It's great. But I really don't care if any of you live or die or anything to talk about to the end. Right? Dude, I listen to you guys talk for 7 hours about nonsense. You just don't like that I'm saying words that are making you listen. So shut the fuck up and you're being taught by a master right now. All right, is I understand the words you're saying. The problem is when you're taking and you're giving all these other people the innovation, you're going to say it's instrumentation and innovation that's changing things, and they can't keep up. But that's very heartless, right? So then you condemn communism, but isn't that just a type of techno-communism? Right. And then if that's the choices and that's the type of thing that you're telling a 16 or 18-year-old coming out of high school, oh, well, you just need to do better. Well, then there's not really any reason to try, and they might as well just burn it all
For the
down.
record sense, man, I just say you commies or you're a bunch of communists because it's like an old running American joke, right? People from the nuclear era, they grew up with like little bunkers in their backyard, and it was like the Russians are coming. The Russians. You're muted, Flo.
I was going to say easy jihad.
No, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's very heartless
that's
to
why we'll
tell.
say like you're a communist. It's just a funny ongoing.
No, I'm saying it's very heartless to tell an 18-year-old that that's just too bad. You don't get to have the same job as, and then it's learn to code, and it's like, oh, okay, well then let's just burn it all down then.
Why don't they learn to forge?
I mean, so I'll say
because
I'll say
I'm willing to go with whichever way you guys want, right, Flo? So like you say that, right? You say, oh, it's about technology and advancement and blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you know what? Know what I advocate for? Shutting off all old age pension and welfare completely. Zero. And the
Okay, hold on.
might ask why, and I'll say this.
Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
Right, see, you guys don't like that, right? So
It doesn't make
real quick.
Go ahead, non-fun.
Yeah, so I want to address.
You have a
firstly,
social safety
you kind
net.
of touched on this point. So I will say, despite me being a globalist or whatever, like obviously America has enemies, and there are national security limitations to trade. So I mean, no one wants trade in nuclear weapons, right? Like we don't want free trade in certain areas, and there are certain times where maybe we don't want chip manufacturing to be in Taiwan because that's a whole national security issue. Because what if China invades Taiwan? Chips are very important for our military and for, I mean, basically everything we make nowadays, right? So there's a national security exception. Secondly, this might get into the, old people pension thing as well. I mean, I'm an American. I care what's best for America, right? And usually I'm looking what is best for America on net. So literally any policy is going to have some winners and some losers, right? And I think there will be some losers from trade. And I will stress again, a lot of these jobs weren't lost due to trade. They were lost due to productivity enhancements. But there will be people who won't be able to get a manufacturing job because of free trade. That's just overall a net benefit from the nation because of the other things that free trade allows us to do. Now, in my ideal system, we would have a tax system and redistribution system that would make sure even the losers from trade do actually end up, at least in a decent enough situation. Like no one is going homeless because I'd probably have some type of like negative income tax, some type of welfare system for these people. But overall, I just think trade is good for the nation as a whole.
It is good. It's what the free market shows that we want. That's why we buy imports. We choose that every day. So to say that it's not good for us as if it's an abstraction doesn't make any sense. We literally make the choice every day to buy imports when we could also make the choice to just do without a lot and buy more expensive American products instead that are frequently worse quality.
Worse quality? So just one question.
Don't fight me on this. I don't give a fuck if you think.
Hang on.
What?
Hang on. I've been quiet. I've been listening. Just want to ask non-fun. I'm going to pull the experience. No, I'm going to pull the experience card.
Buy some slave labor microphone.
Bro, can I just?
I know. We gotta knock. Are you let me ask you this, Ozzy. Are you using like the earbud with a wire?
Just
no. I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone.
Sasquatch taught me it's some kind of problem with StreamYards recently. You got to go into you can fix it. He fixed mine the other day. Go in and your settings, turn off the noise cancellation.
I got it. Yeah. Now try talking.
Speaking of settings, your shit is turned up like crazy.
1, 2, 3, testing. 1, 2, 3.
It's not by design.
A little better.
Am I good? Okay. Non-fun. Thank you, Sarah. Non-fun. Just going to pull the experience card. Have you ever had a callus on your hand or your feet?
Yeah.
You have? By doing what?
Yeah, I used to I used to rock climb a little bit, and I was really good at monkey bars as a kid and everything. So, yeah, I used to have.
No, I mean from work.
Yeah,
I mean from
last week.
From work?
I mean from work. Yeah, from work. You ever got calluses on your hands or your feet?
I have, and I agree with him. So ask me the question.
Ask you what question?
You're going to try to point out that he doesn't have calluses, so he doesn't know. You're going to use that to discredit him. I have worked in concrete for years. I also have an econ degree. I also agree with him on everything except for the redistribution shit. So you could ask me the same question, and it won't work.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
Okay, I've had calluses. Go ahead. Actually,
you're making my point.
Feeling in the
you're
tip
making
of my fingers from concrete.
You're making my point. You're making my point.
What's the point?
With all due respect, I appreciate Flow State's opinion more than non-funds. With all due respect,
even though they have the same opinion.
Okay,
same opinion, yeah, but based on what?
Dude, you're being disrespectful, and I'm
the
guy.
I don't mind being disrespectful. I don't give a fuck about being disrespectful.
All right, well, we don't give a fuck about you wasting everyone's time to check credentials.
My opinion is based on.
Okay, well, maybe
my opinion is that we're all playing here on YouTube. What's that say at 3:00 in the fucking morning?
It says,
have you ever masturbated a penis? Then I don't respect your opinion.
Why
what
do you
kind of
always have to
nonsense
bring
was
it back
that
to
you just said, sir?
sexual things? Why do you always have to bring it back to grotesque?
No, I wanted to hear the answer to that.
Well, I'll ask this question.
You don't understand how stupid what I just said was.
Yeah, but I was going to allow.
I understand how stupid you were.
The language answer to get the story.
Okay, I'll ask Sarah a question. Do you think back to before, is experience equal with knowledge?
Oh my God.
Or does
no? Come on, kick him off this panel.
I thought I already answered this pretty clearly earlier. That I think it also depends on what you're applying that to, right? If I was, for instance, working concrete, I probably would seek guidance from a person who's worked concrete for 20 years, right? Because they not only do they have the knowledge, of what they're doing, but they have the experience to go behind it as well. And they have learned along the way, like, yeah, the directions say this, but every time we do this, this happens. So we're not going to do that. Whereas knowledge is also still very important when it comes to being able to, I think in terms of, like, if I had to write out an opinion on something, or I had to research, like even having knowledge is the ability to research the information in order to develop an opinion. I think knowledge is very important. The experience comes into play, knowing that if I'm writing a dissertation about, let's say, I don't know, economics of some sort, and knowing what I'm writing it towards and how I need to write it in order to keep that teacher happy so that I can get an A. That's the experience that comes into play.
Or even like, Sarah, you're familiar with the military. You have a lot of officers who, right out of college or military school, they get into military academy.
They're total retards.
Right? And then you have drill sergeants who've been grinding from day one, and they know how to run a whole platoon. Multiple platoons for that matter, but they don't get the same credibility. So yeah, I completely agree with you there.
Yeah. Well, so when Flow State said I got my calluses on my hands from concreting, and Non-Fon said I got mine from the monkey bars in high school, which guy are you going to listen to more?
I don't think that, like, for Non-Fon, look. Hold on, you asked me. Hold on, Non-Fon. For Non-Fon, he is speaking with knowledge. Like he's our like resident nerd. Okay, this guy can research, write, citate, whatever, anything. Like my belief of him, my understanding of Non-Fon, and my experience with Non-Fon is more than likely he's not just going to come out here and say something without having done some research behind it. I presume that. I could be totally wrong. Non-Fon has me pegged for a sucker for 19-year-old nerds. All right, but in the event that like you want experience in terms of how to apply that information, then I think that's where Powder Dusty comes into place, because flows coming from a place of I've been there, I've done that, I see it, I know it, and even he is telling you like having calluses on your hands for this particular argument doesn't fucking matter, and he's experienced enough in both worlds, in economics and concrete pouring, that he's telling you this information doesn't matter. So now you have the best of both worlds telling you you're a total fucking moron. Now what do you have to say to that?
I'm a total fucking moron. Is that the point of what you're saying?
You have
Yeah,
the knowledge,
absolutely.
and you definitely have the experience, both telling you you're stupid. I think the Flow only disagreed on one small piece, like the distribution, which I agree with as well. I think distribution is a bit and a half, but you have these two people telling you the answer, and now you're trying to appeal to discredit them. And
I'm not really.
Well, then what's the fucking point?
They're both wrong.
What's the point? Okay, but you are appealing. You are appealing to something that's completely out of the world. On like, oh well, let me dismantle your credentials. Do you have callus on your hand? It was like, when did that ever win a fucking argument?
I didn't say that. I said knowledge and experience both matter, and I was asking about how should we weigh them? 80%, 20%, 70-30, 60-40. I was just asking.
Ozzy,
Did I tell you that it depends on the applicability of what you're doing?
Yeah,
I agree.
It doesn't change what either of them are saying.
Ozzy and Sarah, would you both agree that experience brings knowledge?
Yeah,
and bring knowledge.
And knowledge.
Yes,
can also,
but knowledge does not bring experience.
I think it can.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
that's going to be the difference.
I think knowing that the stove is hot and I'm being informed you shouldn't put your hand on that can save me from a bad experience, right?
So Luigi Mangione,
what we have right here.
Luigi Mangione just offed a Booksmart dude, right? CEO of a medical company. So we got the terms book smart, street smart in America. Why is that? Because you can know everything about this earth history, how things work, trading, coding, medical science, jurisprudence, whatever it is, engineering. But if you don't understand how human behaviorology works, if you don't understand how society works, if you're not street smart, you might as well get killed, right? So excuse my language, but I think that's the point there is experience, even though knowledge isn't advantageous, experience will bring about something that knowledge doesn't have. Whereas knowledge will give you an advantage, but survivalism is something experience gives. Knowledge doesn't teach you how to survive.
Also,
Good
you're kind of
evening.
making you're kind of making a compositional fallacy because you're basically saying that young/inexperience will always equal incorrect.
True. I just real quick, like, I don't think experience matters for the type of claim that I'm making, which is like all rooted in, economic theory. Like, it's not really
right. It's all math. Yeah. No, and anything I said had nothing to do with you, by the way. If you remember, what I said was everything you said is entirely accurate. I just think it's become a mainstream trend to disregard how the middle class, which founded small businesses, founded what we know now as corporate elitism in the world, which is in America. It runs the world. We have just kind of disregarded the fact that the middle class are now like being forsaken for what? For sweatshops in China, for sweatshops in China for my Nikes and my iPhone. Like
the problem is you're not going to get a small business.
This is what child slave labor is getting me, an $800 iPhone. This is what we're talking about. That's all I'm saying.
I think trade is a net benefit to the middle class, and also
yeah. But do you know what the markup is on an iPhone? It's a lot.
4,000%.
And that was my next point, Effigy. This is why I freaking love you, Effigy. But like, you call me crazy. I've never said that to you, bro. But like, this is why I love you, Effigy, because that's my next point. If you're gonna be an American and you want to pay for domestic produced products, then get ready to pay for that markup. You want to pay $2,000 for an iPhone? You want to pay $1,000 for a pair of shoes? Go for it. And I know Grumples is in here already making the faces because he's gonna check me and cook me. But let's just be real about the reality of producing everything in-house. It's going to get more expensive, and are we willing to pay that price?
No, I agree.
Those are relative, but thanks for bringing me up, because without getting into the tariffs conversation quite yet, just the framing of it right now, we're not. I think the entire conversation is what it usually is not knowledge versus experience, because experience is lived, like knowledge that you gain from living and doing stuff. It's education versus experience is the argument that should that we're talking about. Whether you gain your knowledge via a book and not doing it versus doing it yourself. And that's a little tweak. Also, just a little quick fun fact. So, as a funsy fact, all Toyota Tundras and most Tacomas are made in Texas. Some of them are made in Mexico.
Yeah.
And this is because of a tariff that existed because of chickens that also was a 25% tariff on importing light duty trucks and that type of vehicle. That's why we can't have the Hilux in the United States unless they're antiques. That's why the Mahindra diesel midsize pickup truck is not ever going to be sold in the United States because it's not financially viable to do so. That's why the Ford Transit, I forget which one's which, the Ford Transit or Connect, their van, they're like, their commuter van. It's imported as a passenger vehicle into the United States. They're manufactured overseas, then imported to the United States, then converted back into a cargo van because of that tariff to avoid the 25% tariff. So the tariffs, I mean, there's a lot of there's ways to move around it, but the tariffs, that chicken tax, the Fat Electrician has a great video on it, very entertaining about the chicken tax and why we can't have the Hilux in the United States. Go watch his, that'll explain it perfectly. But that tariff from what was it in the 60s, 70s? That's why we have U.S. manufacturing of Toyota trucks. So it created jobs. Toyota USA has jobs and manufacturing onshore because, non-fun, you can shake your head no all day long.
The cost of other jobs, so you have to consider the opportunity.
You can shake your head no all day long, but we can't import the Hilux. So bet we'll make trucks in the United States.
That has an opportunity cost. That reduces consumer income. That also taxes exports because the tax on imports is equivalent.
You're reducing consumer income by having more jobs in the United States? How does that work?
By tariffing things, which reduces consumers after tax income. Yes.
No, see, they're just not imported because the tariff, it costs too much to make it worth selling them in the United States. So they didn't.
In which case, the American good is more expensive than the alternative overseas slave labor produced good, which still reduces consumer income. Yes, and also again, you appreciate exchange rates, which reduces our ability to export.
If you want to talk about forex rates, I mean that's fine. But didn't just I mean I know the premise of this all is the the United States and possible tariffs, which might be just bargaining chips. It might just be a art of the deal kind of stuff, but didn't Trump say, hey, if you have
bargaining
any US
chips
presence,
to tank the market?
Didn't Trump say, hey, if you have any manufacturing presence in the United States, you're not going to get tariffed? Because I'm not all the way up to speed on what the most.
He said a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, he does say a lot of things, but where stuff lands, right? That's kind of what you got to judge.
I don't know if he said that after the election. I feel like after the election, he's only really said we're going to tariff everything from Canada and Mexico, 25%, 50%, and then kind of has
on his emotional state of the day.
Yeah,
and then now we're
after USMCA. Those weren't necessarily great for us, but I mean, bargaining.
Oh, I'm sorry. The last Canadian trade deal that he just called one of the worst ever was the one that he negotiated during his last term.
I don't doubt that. That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, you're sitting here hyping all this shit as though this guy's playing 5D chess on us all, and then you're like, oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm not a giant. No, I voted for him, but I'm not a giant Trump fan. No, please don't get it twisted.
But you just hyped it.
Even
that's what I'm just
guessing.
I observed the current state and things that he said, and then said that my observation.
Wait, hang on. I got an animation just for you, Grumble.
Oh, please, animations! I love it. You get smoke horns. I love it.
Yeah, just wondering.
Even this
screaming into the night.
No, I love it.
Even this 5D chess and negotiation strategy, has its drawbacks, right? Businesses don't like uncertainty. They really don't like when they don't know what's going to be tariffed and when it's going to be tariffed. No one has any clue if the tariffs on April 2nd are actually going to come, or if they're going to be walked back, or if some goods are going to be tariffed and some tariffs aren't. We don't know what tariffs are going to be on. That reduces consumer confidence and that reduces business investment. That's part of the reason why the GDP forecast, if you look at it, it's negative. Now, I really doubt it'll actually end up being negative. There's a very technical reason why it looks negative. But GDP almost certainly will be almost stagnant because of the whole threat of tariffs. You know, like part of the reason the stock market was dipping, it's climbing back up now. But part of the reason the stock market dipped was because of the announcement of tariffs and the uncertainty around tariffs. That's
Which I mean, yeah, that I don't disagree at all. But it seems that you're talking about things that are very short term, like short term, versus what I'm talking about is long term. Like, you know, how long it took between the tariffs that the tariff on imported vehicles between the time when, hey, yeah, they can't import Hiluxes and when Toyota started manufacturing trucks in the United States. The Tundra started in Indiana, by the way, for the first couple of years. Then they moved manufacturing to Texas.
I think the long-term effects are also negative, but
yeah, they are.
Well, I mean,
because this isn't just tariffs in a vacuum, right? This is tariffs compounded with us like blowing up all of our alliances at the same time, and people moving, and American boycotts happening for the first time since I don't know when in ally countries. Like,
yeah, it's because FG,
we're removing our soft power around the world.
The argument is with this radical, I guess you could call it MAGA movement, right? Whatever you know, it's controversial. It is what it is. Love it or hate it. But the argument is that the United States has essentially been, you know, the pillar for the world's security and economy post World War II, and now it's not our job anymore. That's kind of their argument, ultimately, why they're doing all of this radical economical shifting, and you know, why should we be?
Yet they want to keep everything the same here.
Yeah,
they think it's going to stay the same. They think it's all going to be the same.
Just imagine looking after yourself. What a crazy concept.
What are you talking about?
What a crazy idea. Well, I'm saying, well, I'm speaking a little bit about isolationism.
Okay,
what a crazy idea.
Practice.
Your own people.
I don't want to hear that shit out of you until you grow your own food and slaughter your own cows, motherfucker.
Slaughter your own emus. He means.
Just a simple question to all the people that believe in this. Like, do you think that if after World War II, America continued down the route that it was originally going down, of keeping it to itself, not operating on the global scale as we did, because we made this dollar the central economic like powerhouse of the world, do you think we would be in the position to have negotiations? Do we think we would be at the place where we're at right now?
Yes.
What?
Military, we could still do that even absent our economic.
Yes, oh my God. You guys have no idea how much power you have. And Trump is actually saying, let's negotiate. You're going to be my bitch, and
Dude, our
we're going to
dollar
rule
is
the world.
backed by our military power.
Oh
I don't
my
know where
God,
you get
there's nothing wrong with making somebody your bitch. I should know. Wrongful rage in with the Big Ten. Catch me up. Wait, fuck out of here. 10th man into the ether. And wrongful rage. I have to apologize because I didn't see this. I think I was like in the middle of switching the channels over and stuff. So I please accept my apology. My deepest, sincerest apologies. But 10th man ended up removing himself anyways. Maybe he saw your super chat before I did and has left the building. But shout out to you, Wrongful Rage. Let's throw... Oh, I don't have Jizz Donuts on here. If you're in Flow stateside, drop the... We'd still have donuts, though. We dropped donuts.
Man, you slacked off on the Jizz Donuts?
I don't have
powdered?
membership here yet.
Are they powdered donuts?
Yes, sure. I mean, oh damn it! I need a powdered donut too.
You need a powdered.
Brilliant.
Do you not have one on your? Come on, dude.
I'm fucking slacking. I'm gonna change out a different emoji right now.
Romano's got me. There you go. Donut. And
I'm just over here. I'm over here wondering where's Rumple's guitar, bro? When's the last time you were on stream without a guitar, bro? What's going on?
Oh, in the other room. Actually, I got I'm playing this Sunday.
Are ya?
Yeah.
What's
but
the
again, our economy is backed by our military, and that's there's like a movie with a famous actor, and it went viral on YouTube. The scene where he's on stage talking about our youth getting our butts kicked, or even people in the United States thinking China's still agrarian. When you look at what's going on over there, regardless of how they're doing it or the pollution, yada yada, it's impressive. It's scary, especially how 70 to 80% of the stuff in most of our cars, homes, is manufactured or coming out of that part of the world. So it's like this is something we need to acknowledge. Our military is the
on the verge of collapse, man.
Yeah, I've been hearing it for the last 20 years. They went from having a bicycle for every 1 out of 100,000 men in that country in the 90s to now having more cars than we do here. So keep telling yourself that. FG.
And they're predicted to have
keep
half
telling
the
yourself that while
population
you're
they have
using a
right,
device,
that they have right now.
while
and
you're
by
using a
2050.
device that was manufactured in some warehouse over there by some child through slave labor. But keep telling yourself that. So
a lot of
here's
those
the
cars
reality.
spontaneously catch
Those
fire. Though,
kids
dude.
are lucky to have the job, right, Karen?
So AJ,
Here's the reality.
AJ,
Here's the reality.
Unironically.
You guys
AJ,
need to realize
AJ,
our economy
keep
at
talking
this
shit.
point. Okay, all right, dude.
Keep
You
talking
literally, we've constantly
shit,
told
bro.
you need to focus more on like moving your population into the outback, but you're too scared of the wild critters. So you live on the coast and
talking,
trying to
bro.
bot it all. That's so I don't know why you think you have any credibility going forward. But again, I love
No,
you. It's
keep
all
going.
good. Now,
Australian
when it comes
critters
to
are
the United
scary.
States, if you think our dollar is backed by anything outside of our military prowess in the world and the intimidation we put forth on that stage, you're living in a dream fantasy. It has nothing to do with the Chinese bank has overcame Bank of America and Chase Manhattan since like 2014. So it's like,
Well,
where
I mean,
are you guys sitting here
Do you
thinking
know what
America's
do you know what the world
still on
standard?
top of
You
its
know what
game?
the world standard?
Our kids are on TikTok getting all washed up with brain rot, and you guys are pretending like we're still on top.
Well, no, because the world standard is automatically the the American dollar, right? Like that's just the standard for
Brain rot
trade.
is the new currency.
Come on, bro.
World currency.
Hang on.
But why is it the standard?
Because we positioned
Right.
ourselves
When
in a way after World War II. We positioned ourselves in a way where we basically were going to be like,
You say
okay, we
our-
want to be the central for the world
Hang
power,
on.
and this increased our soft power all over the world, which gave
hang
us
on.
the bargaining
When
chips
you-
to be like, hey, we can throw this much money into military might. We can
Say
throw this
our
much
nation.
money.
When you say our dollar,
Ozzy, can I finish my thought or like?
Dollary dues.
AJ.
Okay, so like it increases our military might, it increases our bargaining positions that we have for trade negotiations.
Yeah, AJ, stop. AJ, stop. When you,
bro.
I'm not even talking, but okay.
Yeah, shut up, Mexican.
yeah,
I just can't stand to hear people he thinks are children.
AJ,
Shut
when
up,
you-
Mexican. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, go ahead. Whoa. Awkward silence number one.
So Ozzy, you're gonna like rebuke it, or are you just gonna keep interrupting?
She's had a terrible connection all night. That's all it is. And
It's
I
like,
interrupt more than
when you
anybody,
say
so if
our
she's
dollar-
interrupting me, it's fine. Like Sarah says, anyone's allowed to interrupt me. I'm the grand interrupter. It's okay.
like
I
our,
swear to God,
our
Ozzy,
dollar.
at this point,
We all know what
What's our
he
dollar,
means
bro?
when we say the U.S. dollar.
I'm
What,
What'd
okay,
you say about the US dollar?
What do you think about the BRICS agreement? Do you think it's just smokes and mirrors?
Yeah, I'm asking AJ. Jesus.
Hold on, Ozzy. Just shut up. Thank you.
Obviously, he means our dollar, Aussie. I mean, I don't know like a ton about BRICS. I mean, I think I am concerned that like China.
I'm just
is
asking
becoming
AJ,
bigger player
what
on the
do you
world
mean
stage.
by
Oh my
our?
God, what is wrong with
Well,
you?
I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to respond to AJ.
trying to ask a
Right,
stupid
AJ's talking
question.
about
Yes or
our-
no?
No, bro.
Do you think he doesn't mean the U.S. dollar?
Non-fun, go ahead.
Zimbabwe dollar.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I
I'm
am
trying to
concerned
ask
about
the
China's
question.
position on the
Yep,
world stage.
that's the
and
one,
BRICS.
Grumples.
I
They're
mean,
making a
AJ, what do you mean by our? What do you mean by our dollar? Our.
this time for sure. Helen.
Well, I was born and raised in the United
No,
States, specifically Queens. So when I say our dollar, I'm talking about the petrodollar, the United States dollar.
USD means US debt.
No, I
right
won't.
now. It doesn't really mean currency.
True.
I'm not sure you have the prerequisites required for this class.
This conversation, yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean our dollar? Are you kidding? You just trying to take up space?
He's literally he couldn't answer to the question that I was posing there. Right?
he's
It's
muted.
like why we did that. So
Can't answer.
Anyway,
You guys are gonna find out tomorrow that
Wait, hold on.
it's dangling from a belt in the closet, and it's all because you guys are frustrating as shit.
You're
Who is?
okay. Well, what is your
I'm
frustration?
just
Why don't
kidding,
you-
AJ. Don't need
Why
to
don't
worry about me.
you? Well, no, I
AJ
need to
would
worry
come to my
about you.
house
I don't
and
want
arrest
you
me
to
and cut me down.
self-delete. I don't want you to self-delete. The last thing we want is the great legend from Tornado Country to self-delete.
Don't worry,
Why
I'm
are
way
you
too,
so
I'm
frustrated
way
with this
too
conversation?
arrogant to self-delete.
Why? Why?
For real,
What
like
are you talking about?
In Minecraft.
The fuck are you talking
Why
about?
are you so frustrated with the conversation?
America, good or bad?
Oh my god.
America, good or bad?
Good.
America, good or bad?
That's
listen,
why.
listen.
That's why.
Listen, when fire ants stop
You can't
biting
do
your
it.
ass and kangaroos stop showing up in your backyard and stealing your dogs, you can come onto this table and have a conversation with us about
Do
the economy.
kangaroos
okay?
steal
Listen,
dogs?
AJ,
Yeah,
you didn't
all
even
the
make the point.
You're
Like,
kidding
that's-
me.
Girls.
That's fucking scary.
Like,
Do they snatch up kids?
Yeah, that's the dingo ate your baby meme from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, same question. AJ, America is good or bad?
Both.
Oh,
Yes or no?
America's
Good
the
or bad?
greatest country in the world. That's why people from impoverished parts of the world are dying to live here. That's why when I talk about America, I get told I'm a lottery ticket winner and I should shut the fuck up.
AJ,
Because I'm not Billy Bo Johnson
are
with
hats
blue eyes
good?
and blonde hair.
Do you like
What's
hats?
up, buddy?
Do you like hats?
Yes.
Are hats good or hats are good? Okay.
Yes.
That's a racism, systemic racism.
Rumple, do you like pencils?
No, pencils are systemic racism.
Okay.
Fuck pencils.
Sarah,
Fuck them kids.
Sarah,
Well,
how do
they
you
come
feel
in
about chairs?
all different colors.
Fucking A.
Chairs are pretty comfy. I mean, there's some pretty crappy chairs out there sometimes, but chairs are overall.
No, just chairs.
I like chairs. I love lamp.
Can someone define chair? Can someone define like a chair? What's a chair?
oh my god.
Definition is on the bottom of my dick. Right. It turns into, yeah.
I didn't see the definition down there last night.
Flo,
It's
does
a lot-
your
it's a
dick
lot of-
have
it's a lot of real
calluses
estate
from
to cover.
previous work experience?
Huh?
Does your dick have calluses from previous work experiences?
Oh god.
Well, previous recreation probably is more appropriate.
Oh, okay. I mean, that, yeah. I believe that.
Actually, I'm really pissed off right now because, dearest chat, I know there's 80 of you watching over on my end, and yet there's only 15 likes. It's
man.
free. It's
That's rude.
free.
That's rude.
It's free.
That's rude.
It's your one job. You had one job. One job.
No, Sarah, go one further. Like $2. $2 for a super chat. Who can afford $2?
Well, if everybody in the chat
What's-
sent $2, that would add up pretty well, wouldn't it?
How much is
I
in
know,
dollar
it's like
use? $2. Like
Yeah, what
it's
do you mean dollar?
nothing. What's
Like
wrong with
our
you
dollar.
people?
Which dollar? Which dollar are you talking to?
I'm
about?
I'm
What's the
talking
dollar to dollar
Australian
do
dollars.
exchange rate right now?
I'm talking Australian dollars.
Oh, look, I
That's
gotta.
dues.
Maybe if I boot everybody off panel, we can
$100
like
off
reset the panel and get a whole new panel. Get the fuck out of here, Jason.
Yeah, Jason, get a better panel. Jason, you make a channel and make a panel. Make a better panel. Go on.
Make
Like
a
a
channel,
to-
get a panel.
I had to go around and make all these friends. Wrongful rage, wrong side. Wrong side.
That's what she said. But he put it in there anyways. Thank you, Wrongful Rage, for the $2.
Thanks, man.
For the record,
Tenth
Flow
minute.
State is on.
And-
Flow State is on the. Hold on a second. Flow State is on the back end of this stream. I am on the front end. Choose wisely, men.
So Flo's in the back door.
I think you
you're
just
saying?
tried to make it
Exact-
gay, but we're talking.
Yeah, Flo's-
Exactly. Donating on Flow State. That is the back door of this stream. I have the front door.
Plot
So-
twist.
Blows all
She
about that
used to
back
be
door.
a dude.
What if I still am?
Tilt your head
baby?
back.
One-
Show us the Adam's apple.
Sarah,
That is not
Sarah,
an
it's just
Adam's
one,
apple.
it's
You're
just one
such
more,
an
one more
asshole.
time, one more time when,
Stand up,
one
show us
more
the
time
bull.
when Flow State's writing. Oh Jesus, bro! It's one more
What?
time when Flow State's riding the fucking curtails of Sarah. Okay,
What do you?
I'm just saying.
We can't hear
love you, bro.
because-
But
Yeah, dude,
Your
your
mic.
Outback connection with your fucking mic that got chewed up by a dingo baby is killing us,
Maybe,
man.
yeah.
True.
And I don't mind. I don't mind if Flo rides my coattails. Somebody's riding me, and that makes me happy.
Hey, yeah, buddy.
Hey, there you go.
To me while I do it. It just motivates me to do it better next time.
Flo Rida.
But I'm saving the good fucking for sarcastic saint. I ain't gay, but I'll fuck you to prove a point, buddy.
Oh goodness.
But I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right?
Not me.
All right. So far, we're up to 20 likes. This is discouraging. At least hit the
Slap that
dislike. At
like
least
button.
if you hit the dislike, it will show contention within the channel, and it will still boost the algorithm. Do one or the other, but touch the button, rub the button.
Touch the button. My last girlfriend said that. My last girlfriend said touch the button. And I said, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, it's engagement either way.
I know it's still engagement.
And
but
you
like,
said what
is
the
that
fuck?
better? I mean, like probably the specific ratio of likes that is like, oh, man, I'm still so new to like YouTube world.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. My videos.
YouTube is like it's a rough market. You know, it's like the flea market. You know,
It's saturated. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's nothing like the other.
Which Rachel? Which Rachel's coattails am I riding? We know a lot of Rachels around here.
The only Rachel I know is Rachel Wilson.
Probably Rachel Wilson. Yeah, probably.
I mean, for the record, Rachel Wilson's only been here once on this panel.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yeah, she's only been
but
here
Mr.
once.
Wilson, but Mr. Wilson does let you moderate. But
Yeah,
Mr. Wilson
I
does
go
let
and
you
I do the
moderate
work.
a bunch of
It's not like hold on, stop though. It's not like he comes to me and says, "Sarah, would you kindly mod and host this?" He's only done that once because it was on my panel. Outside of that, I go and I find the people that are complaining with him and causing a fuss, and I invite Andrew to come and debate them, and he's agreeable. So I'm still doing the work nonetheless. Now I'm very appreciative that he graces our presence with his, crowd and everything like that. But that doesn't mean it's not. I don't think that could necessarily be a coattail ride.
Hell yeah!
This is a girthy crowd.
I think if
he.
Oh,
come on, girl.
Well, no. Hold on. If he was here every week, then that's a coattail ride. But I mean,
you ride on my coattail.
But
This is
when
more
he
like
is here-
Sarah and Flo riding each other's coattails. I don't know what the fuck you guys do.
I think Flo's
another
really
one in the
nice.
back door.
Hang on.
Two in
when
back.
Andrew's here, he does tell his chat to send money. He says, send money to Rachel, to Sarah. He says, send money. Chat, you fucking
he
retard,
does
send
that-
money.
He does that with every channel that hosts him.
Yeah, because he's
How
very
great that
generous.
he's at that point where he can just entirely direct.
Well,
and not have to worry about his own stuff.
regardless of whether you agree with the
Very
guy or
city
not, or whether you agree with the cult following he has,
Let me try
it goes
something.
it just hold on. It goes to show that he cares about what made him get on Piers Morgan or whatever he's doing now. The guy's doing shit. That's
He's
everyone's
doing
like,
something
whoa.
right. I don't
Yeah. So
mind.
Hold on.
and
Let me
the fact
try.
that he still keeps in touch with you guys and sends his love is a sign that he's not a douchebag. Like that's
he
what
does
I
send
would
his
say.
love regularly. Here, I'm gonna try something. Dusty's, go send Saradonos. Oh, fine. All right, fine. They just can't stop donating to me. Alex,
No, we'll try this. We'll try this. Everybody in Sarah's chat, go over to Flow State and send some money. Send some love.
Oh, now Non-Fun goes live.
I've been live. I've been live the entire time.
Wait, not on Twitch.
Here.
Wait,
No,
are you?
just on because Streamlabs lets me stream it to my
Cheers.
channel. So I just did that.
Okay, well, hang on. I'll play yours up too.
Speaking of which, if people
Cheers
want
to
to
that.
see my, love my way, Non-Fun on YouTube, NONFON.
It comes from Twitch Space. Don't believe him. Don't trust him. He's not trustworthy.
YouTube
Don't
is
trust
probably
Twitch
bigger
people.
for me at this
I don't
point.
trust
people.
anybody who wants.
By the way,
well-free
Sarah, if
distribution,
anyone
but
ever
doesn't
wants to debate
redistribute their
free
own
trade,
wealth out.
okay.
What's that?
Find
What's that
anyone.
now?
I said if anyone ever wants to debate free trade, I'll do whatever
Free trade?
one-on-ones, open panels, free trade.
I do not want any of your money, therefore I'm the
what's
only
even
righteous
$20
one here.
I'm having a serious conversation. Non-fun, you said free trade. Like, what would a
Free.
You know what? Actually,
freedom.
that's what I. Free.
You said
trade.
pre-trade, like pre-cum.
Free trade,
Free
and
trade.
or
He
like
said free
tariffs,
trade.
like
Send me a
that's-
prompt. Send me a prompt, and then I can go and find the other three.
Non-Fun, you got investments in GME and you're waiting for the market to get held accountable, aren't you? I know you guys.
I don't
I used
really-
to day trade. I know you guys.
No, I don't really invest anything. I mean,
Do you have any friends that got rich off of GME or are caught in the loop right now where they're waiting for accountability?
No, not really. I don't pay that much attention to finance. I mean, I watch the Federal Reserve press conferences sometimes, and I see how the stock market reacts, but I don't really.
Wait, I
I
put that message in Non-Fon's chat. What? How is it on?
Wait,
in the StreamYard?
And, a lot of kids non-Fon's age I talk to.
Because Flow State is riding on my coattails, and he's connected to my StreamYard. So you can even click the button too in the top right corner. It says "Stream to your audience," and then it will pull everybody's chats that's dual streaming off of this StreamYard.
Oh, that's so convenient. But I use OBS, I use standard OBS Studio and Restream and because multi-platforms. But that's so tempting.
Yeah,
I'm not live right now though.
Are there brownies?
Why, Sarah? I was just gonna say, Non-Fon, you seem younger than me, and I'm
What? What's that?
Huh?
Hold on.
I didn't hear him. What did he say again?
I don't know, but I need to call him out on something when he gets back. You, sir, are insidious. I heard you when Sharon came on. Immediately, you called him brother man twice in a row.
I have to.
Why?
Because it's I'm a code shifter. I'm a code switcher. I'm a
all right.
Well, he admits it. That's the important part.
All right. Well, that took the wind out of my sails.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So what do you want?
I like it when you struggle.
A snake oil salesman like the Gematria dude. Come on now.
I said
Marathon Kev decided to go in the front door on my end with the big.
It's because I sent him over there. See?
It's because he's with the Dusties. The Dusties came over.
Right,
and
the Dusties
donated.
are coming over and making it rain on these hoes.
And Kev says, "Sister, always dope conversation. Thank you, Marathon Kev. We love you. You can."
Nah, Kev's cool. Kev's the only dude that came out. Cool. Kev's the only dude that came out not drowning in that situation.
Wrestler came out not drowning too, but Kev's the man.
Yeah. You're right.
Because they're not drama-based people. They're like they probably saw drama, sniffed drama, and they're like, "Nope, I'm gonna go this way."
Here's the funny part though. Rosla completely stayed out of it. Kev had to was participating in it and still managed to come out of it clean.
He was the manager's manager.
Yeah, you need that. You always need one person. You always need one person on the inside. And I don't think Kev intended to be that, but when you're real and you just see all this crazy shit, he ended up being that, and that was Kev.
Yeah, for sure. No, he gave the best perspective on all of it. So
yeah, for sure.
Speaking of perspective, Rock E coming with the big 2 on the back and the stinky and the back door.
Nice. How many is that in the back? Man,
3.
we're setting a new record here.
Wow. That
3
sounds
back
so
door.
All right, that was a little zesty.
You might need some lube if too many of them get in there.
Just keep cramming them in.
Okay, can I talk to Non-Fon about GameStop?
Oh,
Lord.
I don't know a ton about it. Again, I'm not a finance.
Okay,
person.
so a lot of kids your age I talk to. I'm 31. I practice law, and I day traded for a little bit. I made a few $100s here and there. I'd invest into Apple or Costco or these companies when I knew they were releasing a product that was going to make a lot of profit. I'd put in a little bit of money and then I'd short trade out. This is why Warren Buffett has Berkshire Hathaway 1 and Berkshire Hathaway 2, where it's one, you got to invest at least $60,000 or $50,000 on any given trade, but 2 is for the regular day traders or whatever. So I kind of got my taste of all that, but what I learned was during the GameStop situation that all of these hedge funds tried to short GameStop, and all of these young kids like you, Non-Fon, were invested in GameStop and saw the fraudulent behavior amongst these corporations and the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission. And so these kids basically shorted. It was the Big Short. It was 2008 all over again. It was these small hedge funds that shorted literally the housing market, and these banks laughed them off, and then they became 100 millionaires, and the whole country suffered. So these kids your age that I've over time talked to, right? Whatever. FG, you're always correcting me, but you get it. Layman.
Well, no, it started with Roy and Kitty, who's not a kid, but.
Right, but okay, but whether it's Jeffrey on the GameStop side, or excuse me, on the hedge fund side, or the GameStop people, what I found is so fascinating is that these young kids, especially the ones that did it early enough to where they got rich, And then now the ones that are trying to fight the law on it and keeping their life savings in the stock, they're waiting for a time where government and stock, agencies will be held accountable so they can get their due. And I find that extremely impressive, especially from an audience that is so young that when I was that age, I was playing Xbox and fucking smoking weed and going to school, so it's just, that's why I brought that up, dude. Like, I know you said you're not familiar with it, but I do think when people your age are so in tune with finances and all that, you got a small minority of you guys have shown you're nothing to fuck with. Like, you guys know what you're doing. So, that's all.
It's funny that you're talking to Non-Fon, and Non-Fon said he didn't get any of it. And I'm actually sitting here as someone who did buy GME stock.
You seem older.
I know.
You seem older than him.
Into GameStop, I never invested, and I don't know the.
Just take the compliment and say thank you and act like you did. He wanted
Was
to
it
compliment.
Was it during the short squeeze though?
I have no idea, but like, I think at this point, AJ is determined to deliver a compliment to Non-Fom. So let's not make that difficult for him.
True. No, I just want to say if
during the short squeeze.
Yeah, I
just want to say, yeah, AJ. So it worked out good, right? Just going to say, AJ, you made some months, so why can't you drop $2 in the fucking super chat, bro?
Oh my God! Here we go again.
Or your team.
Or your
team.
AJ, why are you here? Why don't you pay? Here we go again.
He's one of those people, he just doesn't. He's not going to be.
I can say one thing though about that GME thing really quick. The GME saga did prove one thing, and it proved that the stock market is a game, a rigged game. Most of the actual action for the stock market is taking place in after hours. All the really dirty shit is taking place after hours. So nearly everything
like
retail,
the backdoor shit.
Anything retail investors do is not even done washed in during normal hours to even affect price. So like it's
But FG, everybody was asking everybody else except for you.
I know. It was funny. I was just letting it go. Now it's become a movement of hanging on to the stock and actually like getting the actual physical representation of the stock, so they cannot, because once you do that, they cannot utilize it for washing these short trades anymore. And it's become kind of a movement of being anti the ethos of the stock market, which is to always to like buy and sell these stocks as you would like the up and down goes. They're like making a wall around this company just as a point.
And FG, would you agree that a lot of that had to do with the youth or the young adults in the market that were investing?
I mean, it had a lot. Yeah, it had a lot to do with that. It had a lot to do with free money. It had a lot to do with. It had a lot to do with Roaring Kitty basically making those YouTube videos pointing out the fact that they were trying to do to GameStop what they had already done to places like KB Toys and Walden Books, and because hedge funds have been doing that for a while, where they've been naked shorting things into oblivion and then basically making money off of the carcasses of the businesses. And they were planning to do that to GameStop, and he just pointed it out. And all you had to do to counter it was buy the stock.
I think the difference on this one was that it wasn't just a hedge fund; it was a trading platform that was behind it.
I'm still not seeing any. I'm still not seeing it. I'm still not seeing. I'm still not seeing any super chats.
The Robinhood thing came in later, but that was kind of an egregious.
Well, on that piece of it,
egregious little piece of insider shit happening right there.
Which Robinhood was great. Besides that, they let you buy fractional shares. Like, I mean, I think most of the trading
that depends on
now, but
because it's more your lights.
Yeah, but if they're willing to just disable the sell button, it's not really a fair system, is it?
Exactly. That's why I don't use them. But at the time, they were kind of enticing, and like give you like X amount. Hey, here's some free stocks to get you started or whatever.
Well, that's the whole point. Like, invest into their app and then be like, hey, we're gonna not let you sell off whenever the fuck you feel like. So it's basically you're just
that's
do whatever the fuck they want.
Danger, Will Robinson, all the red flags, the big buzzers, all the things like no whammies, stop. Yeah, it was all the whammies. Like don't use Robinson.
But the people who are sitting there still to this day saying that the shorts have to
Marathon
clear, just kind of silly.
I will accept the pause. That was a good, nicely placed pause, Kev.
So, Effigy, are you the guy who told me he had a fucking PhD in fucking string theory? Was that you?
Do I sound like a guy with PhD in string theory?
I'm sorry, I'm already hearing. I heard string theory.
Yeah, somebody told me. Somebody told me they had a fucking degree, a PhD in string theory, and I said, "Bro, what a
How do you
waste
have a
of fucking
doctorate in
time."
that?
I mean, that'd be a
You
degree
do?
in a PhD in theoretical
Is that-
physics with like a
Yeah.
concentration maybe in string theory.
Yeah, theoretical. I mean, how would you even? What institution has a degree program in string theory?
For
Or
theoretical
string
physics.
theory for that much?
That's
Any
what I'm
music
saying.
department?
It'd be theoretical physics, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just a silly monkey.
So-
I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, so can you afford like $3 for a super chat, bro? What the fuck's wrong with you? Sarah, I'm trying to be a co-host. I'm trying to do the grift.
How's it working?
Pretty good so far.
You know
I'm
what?
pretty sure,
Here's
Sarah.
what I'll do.
I'm pretty-
I'm gonna just let Ozzy talk for until payment is made.
Oh no!
There we go. So,
On the
if all
spot.
you motherfuckers are enjoying the channel for free, and you could spend $2, $5. What's a
Bro,
coffee
what are you
cost? Like,
spending? What are you spending, bro?
Yeah, how much did you
The fuck are
spend
you
today, bro?
spending with your Australian currency?
I'm pretty sure I've
Lame-ass
spent about
motherfucker?
I'm pretty sure I've spent about $50 tonight.
Every time,
yeah,
every time you hit the like button, a tariff goes away.
No,
Now,
I'm
how
pretty
much
sure.
that-
I'm pretty
Have
sure.
no
I'm
problem.
pretty sure.
No problem.
Bro,
I'll keep clicking that.
don't do me dirty. Don't do me dirty. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I will
back it
say
up.
there's still only 30 likes, or actually 29 likes. There's 70 viewers. If we get 30 more likes, I will count that as a contribution to remove Ozzy as the main speaker. So
Just hit the
either
like button, people.
hit the
please.
No,
like
we want to hear Ozzy. Fuck everybody else.
or make your payment.
I don't want to kill Ozzy.
Ozzy, what is your profile picture? Is this a vagina drawn onto something?
That's a skull.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why I'm on full screen. Everyone's talking about me.
As
What
though
kind of look
You're
on your
over here
vagina?
bitching- you're over here bitching
Yeah,
and
close
moaning
that.
about people not sending enough money, so you got the stage, big dog. Send the money or tell
I'm
people
trying to
send
talk
it.
about that like geometric vagina that's drawn on your forehead with the skull.
Now, get this motherfucker.
That
Hey,
vagina has
hey,
teeth.
get this motherfucker off the main stage, Sarah. I just sent you 50. I'm sick of these motherfuckers bitching and moaning without a job.
There we go. There we go. Got you, bro.
I'm sick of it.
Got you,
I'm
bro.
sick of these broke ass
Got you, bro.
bums.
This is why I fucks with lawyers. Lawyers are awesome.
No, it's like if you really piss me, I'll pay.
Give you. You know what? Actually, the floor's yours, AJ. Since you
No,
sent the 50.
just say it. Just
Go
say
ahead.
it, Sarah. I don't care.
Our lovely AJ sent a whole $50 to say, kick Aussie and stop kicking me. Love you. Aussie, your final thoughts before you are removed from the panel.
My final thoughts are because hang on, my final thoughts, if I could,
Yeah.
AJ's my bitch because I convinced him to spend $50. You love you, bro. I'll talk to you later.
That's fair play.
Get the fuck out of
He
here.
just put you in his kangaroo pouch.
Wow.
Joke's on you. It was in Zimbabwe dollars.
See you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Love you all.
It came out to 67 cents for Sarah.
Oh no, it's a fraction of a cent. Don't worry about that.
Thank you, AJ.
It's
That was
worth
pretty
more
good.
as toilet paper.
Hey,
No,
I
it's
let it out of
honestly,
you.
it's long overdue. It's long overdue.
That's fair. That's fair. I will accept. Happily.
Warpig Gaming, I've got the super chat button on my side on the Powder Dusty. If anybody wants to put it in the Powder Dusty, that is there.
And
Sarah
Marathon
unfortunately
Kev,
Mhm.
Marathon Kev sent another 10 to say insurance on AJ being not being bought off the panel. AJ, your spot has been
You're a made man.
locked in. You have been made.
You're part of the La Familia.
You can thank Marathon Kev. I'm sorry, Dusty. I interrupted your grift. Please continue the grift.
No, I'm done. I was just actually making. I was trying to say La Familia without being retarded, but I can't do it. I was just making noises.
We already know you're retarded. You didn't have to say words to prove that.
I mean,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ape strong together.
Ooh.
Ape strong together.
Ape strong.
Strong together.
Non-found looks like uncomfortable. Are you uncomfortable with retards? Are you uncomfortable around retarded people?
Yeah, I'm just so much smarter. It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard.
Oh shit!
Is it the little hands?
Yeah. Was it? Wait. It was you, by the way, Dusty, that said you agreed with me on tariffs, except for the redistribution part, right?
Well, I agree with your perspective on basically the things we're talking about. I disagree on your desire to redistribute wealth. It's interesting that you have a free market and also redistributive perspective, because those two normally are at odds with each other.
Non-fun's great.
I think it's fair to say that like the free market is, works in most cases, but like obviously I think the free market, because it only distributes income to people who based on only provides income to people who either contribute labor or capital, who contribute to factors of production. People who don't contribute factors to production, whether because they're disabled or they're too old.
Why would anyone deserve output from something they didn't provide any input to?
Also, facilitators.
Society seems like society is better when we do so. It just seems like that's a net utility maximizing thing.
Yeah, I'll let it slide because you're younger than me.
Wait, what's the issue with what I just said? I don't think it's at all. I don't think it's at all like bad.
Were you born after 9/11?
Yeah, I'm 19.
It's because it's
okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Because I think you underestimate how much a lot of people just legitimately suck.
Well, those of us who were born pre 9/11, we kind of really, our trust issues, let's just say we were in a very toxic relationship with our mainstream upbringing. So us millennials, we kind of have a very, I guess you could say disingenuous perception on what the government's doing. Especially
would you get rid of Social Security? Well, I also understand what theft is.
Well, you could define. I understand you can define like taxes and redistribution to be theft, but then I would just say theft isn't bad, because my position is that
it is
a lot of
how you can in a democracy, though.
A lot of these, like welfare systems are just net utility maximizing, in that like society as a whole, overall utility is maximized when we distribute.
That's the argument. I disagree that that's the result. And morally, I don't see how anybody can say, "Well, you created this, but I deserve it." It does. It's a nonsense.
Well,
this is why I brought up GameStop to you, right? This is why I brought up GameStop, because I don't know if you've seen The Big Short. A lot of us have. It's got Christian Bale in it, Steve Carell from The Office, right? It's one of the greatest movies ever. Shout out to Adam McKay.
Explains the actual thing.
Yeah, he's super underrated director. Adam McKay is awesome, but
we're doing movie reviews.
He also did Vice, which was about Dick Cheney. So,
oh my god, I could not care less.
And you get to the point, though, AJ.
But, okay, I'm trying. The reality is, when you have such blind faith in a market that you think is just coincidental, don't you think the corruption, especially the caught-out corruption in the past that people have benefited from, should be, put into question when we talk about how the free market is going into its direction today? Like,
I don't think I'm the one with blind faith in the market. I'm the one arguing against the market.
Yeah, that would feed into non-Fon's argument.
I would also say that The Big Short had nothing to do with corruption. It's more about moral hazard.
Right.
Capitalistic wants will push you past where morals should make you stop.
Right, but I think you guys are missing my point. You have non-Fon saying that the free market is the market today because it's free, right? And we have to acknowledge it. And I think, I don't know, I can't speak for other people on the panel, but what I'm saying is there's a clear agenda or a narrative that has been pushed in these markets through fraudulent behavior. Fraudulent behavior that has gone without criminal prosecution for decades on end. Right? So it's like, this is where we need to start understanding that the market in itself is a fallacy. It's not a real market. It's not a real.
So, are you talking about the stock market? If you're talking about share prices, that's a bit different from like consumer markets
or welfare. Yeah.
Any company that's open to have people trade or invest is going to be on the stock market. But when I'm talking about the market, I'm talking about your local farmers market. I'm talking about your local mom and pop shop, right?
Yeah. Okay. What's the question?
It's like the question is this: if Haji at your local 7-Eleven has to pay $11 per pack of smokes and charge $12.95, and he's only making $1.30. Like we're talking about a time where people would say they could get this stuff for a quarter. So it's
would you say we're
At this point, is it inflation or is it delusion of the market itself?
It's inflation.
Would you say also we're tax maxing right now? Can I use some brain rot?
Not tax maxing.
I mean,
lingo?
so
I live in
collectively,
California. I live in California. If you're going to tell me my government's not tax maxing my state
I
government,
mean, California, I understand it's high taxes, but like as a whole, the U.S. tax as percentage.
That's
of GDP
actually
is
that's
less
false.
than the
If you
OECD
look,
average.
if you even
I didn't
taxes
finish my
out,
sentence. It's objectively true. Anyone could look this up. The U.S. taxes as a percentage of GDP is lower than the OECD average of the other developed countries. That is true.
okay, that's not what I'm talking about. That's a fine
Development
metric
is
that
racism.
doesn't matter at all. If you look historically at the amount that can be extracted from citizens through taxes, we're at the breaking point. If the population as a whole gets taxed at much higher of a rate, that's when societies decline. It's about a 70%.
Ow.
right? But also, this is what we're talking about.
70%
Blind faith here.
it is
You
We're
just
also, we've
compared.
also been shifting
No,
the burden
non-fun.
onto
You
the
just compared.
lower
You just
classes the whole
compared.
time, though.
You just
Yeah,
compared.
exporting the
It's not 70% tax. It's 70% value.
At the breaking point for
Hey,
tax.
flow
not
state.
Again,
Flow state.
Okay.
Read it. Read it. Read
My
it.
doll hairs. Thank you, James, for putting two more in back.
No, but this is what I mean about blind faith, right?
Oh.
Because you're talking about statistical comparisons to countries who per capita and even their socialized Medicare, all this stuff has nothing to do with a country with over 300 million people that have way more diversity, that have way more non-fun. You do realize there is no country.
Taxes as a percentage of GDP. It's not that. I understand.
Okay,
there are
so does
differences
China
between
or
countries, obviously.
Does China or India or Russia tax their people more than the United States does? Because
I'm
you're
not
now
sure about
comparing
those
us to
specifically, but I'm
Norway
talking about the
or
OECD
Sweden
countries. I don't think
or
they're
England
Russia might be
or
the OECD.
Ireland, which yes, they tax their people 50 to 60% of their net worth per year, but they also have socialized medicine. They
Wait,
also
Norway's
aren't
all
allowed to
white
have
people. Are we
guns.
talking about taxing white people more right now?
And they also have like 20,
We're
30
talking
million,
about-
maybe 50 million people per country.
We're talking about the total amount of productivity that goes towards government. So that means that includes not just income tax, not just sales tax, but every incremental increase in sales tax it takes to get a pencil from wood and graphene or whatever it is into
Graphite.
a finished product.
Welcome.
It includes
That's
licenses,
how
it
much
includes
tax.
tariffs,
Yeah.
all these things. We spend a massive amount of money towards the government.
Yeah,
Nope,
any kind of
that's also not
paperwork
true. We
to
spend
charge you.
26% of GDP. That is lower than most other countries as well.
What
The
are you
US
talking-
government- the
what
federal
I
government is
mean,
the
when you
biggest
talk
employer
like
on
that, you
earth.
sound like you haven't
The federal
actually
government
looked
is
at the whole
absolutely
picture.
not the like.
No, okay,
maybe
hold on,
the,
hold on. When
like,
you say 26%,
You
do
got
you
to get those
acknowledge that
spirit
our
fingers under
GDP?
control.
Hold on, guys. Do you acknowledge that our
I'm trying to
GDP
get his spirit fingers in check. He's
represents
doing-
almost half of the world's GDP? Do you acknowledge that?
our GDP. I don't think our GDP is half the world's GDP.
I don't-
we have one of the highest GDPs in
gosh.
the world.
We do have the
So-
highest.
so-
So you're gonna sit here and tell me the United States of America isn't the wealthiest nation in the world on the contention of its GDP?
Most debt. It's not wealth, it's debt.
Yeah, but
the
that's
numbers.
it doesn't matter because if I have
That is
credit
money.
and if
don't
I have
know
the Federal
like that-
Reserve printing out
Yeah,
money
that-
and now we got Bitcoin, it's all
That's-
good. We can
that-
keep
that-
it pushing.
this is
We can
hurting
keep
my
it
brain
pushing,
so much.
Grumbles.
Bitcoin trash.
No, non-fun. It's ridiculous because I think what you're trying to compare.
I
the
agree.
United
The U.S. is one of the richest countries in the world. That's why I'm looking at it as a percent of GDP, as a percent of how big the tax base is, as a percent of how many things the country produces, and everything that you can tax. We spend less than other countries, than a lot of other countries, than Norway, than Sweden, than like almost every European country has taxes and spending as a higher percentage of GDP.
You said you were born in 2005, right?
And all of them
Yeah.
perform worse. Like all of them
Yeah.
have worse performing economies.
On what metric? It depends.
Well, definitely
put
on
it on a
GDP, but I
credit
wasn't
card.
even going to suggest that one. All of them are in
I think
bigger
you guys
financial
are.
space.
I think you guys
They're
are
having more trouble.
understating. Go
What?
ahead, Flo.
I'm not convinced that Norway's in a bigger financial crisis than us, but
Yeah,
It's never
Norway's
going to
very
be in a bigger
exclusionary.
financial crisis than
Norway's
us. It's
not.
never going to
Norway
be.
invested the government funds into their oil, if I remember the country correctly,
They-
and they don't
well funded.
and they don't allow people to immigrate in to tap into
Dude.
that.
I don't know.
That's like saying China's going to have a population crisis or India. You guys, we are literally living off of credit and military prowess. At this point, our children are fit. We're ranking non-fun people your age. Non-fun people your age and younger than you are ranking 13th, 14th in basic arithmetic, sciences, history, English, language arts. So we need to really acknowledge the fact that the elite in this country run the world, but the majority of the people in this country have no idea what the fuck's going on. And you're trying to sit here and convince us that the market is sporadic because it's coincidental. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't know what claims are wrong at this point. So the reason we started this is because I was arguing in favor of some type of welfare system, some type of redistribution to take from the winners and give to the losers from the free market, essentially.
No, fuck them, they lost.
That's initially, basically what I was arguing.
It turns poverty.
We got sidetracked into basically, how much can the U.S. government spend. But
do you recognize how redistributive systems then turn poverty into an industry in and of itself?
Yeah, can I just say one thing for a second here?
So the
average income in Canada, I believe, is like 65,000, something like that. I don't even remember, something like that. But whatever. I think it's a lot less than that. But I'm just being. And then it goes, and here's how much an immigrant with their spouse and 3 children can have from the social system, and that's not including going to the hospital with our public medical benefits, and it's like $80,000 to $87,000 per year we give them.
I remember what you're talking about, but it wasn't spouse. They couldn't be married in order to get to that number, and it was
whatever it was. But it's like $80-something thousand.
I remember what you're talking. Right? I remember this.
So I get what the young fellow's saying there, right? I really, really do. And then Flo, I feel a little disrespected today by Flo and Rizla, but maybe they're just having a bad day. But that's okay. Flo, you completely disregarded me earlier when I said I think that all social welfare systems should be eradicated. And then you kind of
I must have missed it, buddy. I've been checking out of this stream more than normal.
It's just, I understand maybe for like a blind person. That's what Flo's saying here, right? Because like I have a blind and deaf aunt. I can understand why she would get social assistance, right? But I know thousands of people over the past 30 years, literally thousands. I know a lot of people that are on social assistance or SSI, whatever, depending on the country, because society.
Is this a flex?
Physically disabled person.
I have no idea.
Disabled person that doesn't get any benefits.
10th man is definitely on a list. He's on a list in Canada. It's just.
I'm on all the lists. I'm the prime minister.
I mean, if you're saying like disabled people should get paid.
Your phone.
I was muted. I mean, like, obviously, I mean, it seems like.
Okay, you can unmute yourselves now.
Bez.
I'm curious for Flow State's answer. Would he be okay with disabled people getting payments?
Flo just explained it to you. I was trying to tie into what he was saying and also get my voices. What I'm saying is, like he said, it turns it into an industry. So that was his response, and then I explained to you how it can get out of control.
We could turn disabled people into cat food.
Well, no, we know what life was like before we had Social Security, right? We had poor houses, you had almshouses. Like, there's a reason that it's the most successful program the government's ever done.
Flo, we could also turn the government into poor people food.
That's quite a claim.
We have
I would say
people dying
reducing elderly poverty. If that's like something you care about,
I would say the interstate system has been more successful.
That's
AJ,
fine.
You're
you
still
think that
muted.
Social Security has been effective?
Again, why do you
Social
think
Security
it's
is
successful?
massively upside. Social Security is a mathematical disaster. Just because
You
it
think
worked
that
on the
Social
front
Security has been
end,
effective at reducing elderly
A
poverty?
single
just
one-line
because it's
bill
worked
will
on the
fix
front
Social
end,
Security.
it's not sustainable.
Like,
Do you
Sir
think that
Flo,
Social
Sir Flo,
Security has
Sir
been
Flo.
effective at reducing elderly poverty? I just want to answer that question.
I would just like to remove the
It's not
interstates
that simple
from
a
this
question.
conversation.
Sure, on the front
Flo.
end. But
Flo, Sir Flo.
Right.
what?
Can we just remove the interstates from this conversation? Because you know damn well that was because of Dwight E. Eisenhower to mobilize the military. That's why we have great highways in this country, some of the best in the world. Okay? War.
Wait, why can we build interstates? Why are you entitled to tax away people's money just to build interstates? So it doesn't that violate the NAP? What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Well, at that time, it was a matter of being, are we going to speak German or are we going to...
This message is sponsored in part by...
Yeah, I have an issue with all the taxes. Why don't you go feed a homeless person? Why don't you go ladle lentil soup into their fucking starving ass mouth?
You know what? I give them dollars all the time.
You don't do shit, do you?
An individual doing something. This can have a big effect on the whole of society. Like these systems only work.
Can't
everyone
do shit.
pays into
Everybody
it.
else has to. What's the last
the
thing
United
you
States
donated
weaponized roads?
What's the last thing you donated to?
It's a charity called the Shimp.
Well, now you're making Aussie's dumb arguments.
Me. And that last thing non-fon donated to was me.
Ooh, that's a charity donation.
It doesn't care. That's not charity
now, when
donation.
you guys talk homeless, like here's the thing.
She's not a 501c.
Wait, real quick. So the last charity I donated to was a charity. You should all look it up called the Shrimp Welfare Project. They help out a lot of shrimp. It's a really funny charity. Anyway,
you're kidding me.
Basically,
so I live in Los Angeles.
Do you know? Hold on. Do you know what?
treadmills?
Let me go gross for a minute. Do you know what shrimping is sexually?
Not sexually, no.
I learned this the other day. Me and two other friends were sitting there at dinner talking about all sorts of random stuff, and somehow we got on the notion of shrimping. Although it was brought to the table as a description of something gross that you do, and then we're like, "What the hell do you even call that?" And one of them actually texts her husband. She's like, "He'll know." Text him the description, and he seconds later, shrimping, and we're like, "What the fuck?" It's a thing. Look it up. It's gross.
Don't look it up.
No, don't search that.
Right now, and I'll read it to you momentarily. Bear with me, please.
Oh no.
Google just got bombarded with everybody asking what the fuck shrimping is.
No one Google it.
Charity has never been above 2% of GDP in almost every
No, I'm not.
Country in the history.
This is not a top down.
Poverty only work when everyone pays into it.
What I'm asking about is your right to demand that other people pay for the thing that you want, which is you want homeless people paid for. You're not willing to do it yourself. You're a hypocrite. You don't do shit.
I'm not.
Oh, come on. That's not even bad at all,
I
Sarah.
already explained to you why I'm not a hypocrite, because I think these large-scale social programs only work when everyone
absolutely
and that's what I want society as a whole to pay into them. That's not a hypocrite.
You want to force other people to solve the problems
you
that you
already
won't
said
solve
the
yourself.
interstate program was effective. How is that also not stealing?
No. You're a hypocrite. You want
But is
other
he
people to
supposed
pay
to
for the
fund that,
problems you
Phil?
want credit for solving.
Oh boy.
You want to take other people's money because you think you know what to do with it better than they do, which is you think that they should use their money to solve those people's problems. You are not willing to get involved at all yourself.
Again, these large-scale social programs only work when everyone pays into them.
No,
That's
they work.
why I want
They
everyone
work
to pay
better.
into them.
They work better. You can't do the whole thing.
They are.
Okay, so
social
if you
programs are generally pretty
No,
effective.
if you can't do
now,
the-
can I get an answer to my question? Do you?
No, we're not done with this. If you can't solve the whole,
bro.
you don't believe in solving any of the problem. It's all or nothing. Perfection.
I think it is moral. I think it is moral to donate to charity. I also think it is moral to have a social safety net and to have welfare programs.
Is it moral that
Is
it moral to steal from people?
If you define stealing as just taxes, then no. Then I don't think stealing is wrong.
I mean,
But
when anybody besides the government runs
Real
a
quick,
tax scheme
real
where
quick,
they tell you what to buy and then they give you what you get back, it's called racketeering, and it's what the mob does. Are you?
Real quick, okay. You
What?
said that you think the U.S. interstate program was good or whatever. You think that was?
I think it was.
most
I think.
concurrent
I think.
program
It was
ever. Do you think that was stealing? Just real quick, do you think that was stealing?
I think all taxes is stealing. Yes, that was stealing.
All
It was
taxes
one of the
is
better.
stealing.
It was one of the more efficient programs. It's one that's still in use today. It's
think
one
it was
that wasn't.
justified for the
It's
government
one
to do
that
that?
was. No, I don't think it's not morally justified. It
Right.
might be economically more efficient, but that's a different thing from moral justification.
Okay.
You understand that, right?
No, I understand. It's just it's weird to me. Like, do you think that it was?
Why is it weird to
utility
you?
Do you think it?
Why is it weird to
because
you?
I view morality as like a utility maximizing.
You do.
thing,
So
it's
then we
funny for
should
me.
kill off the disabled people.
No, because I don't think that's utility maximizing. That's easy.
Of course it is.
Nope.
How is that not utility
Because
maximizing?
people who have a right to life, and I think society's a lot worse if we. I do think negative rights, by the way.
Okay,
have
so
value.
there's your morality. That's your morality.
And their
Objectively,
experience.
disabled people are nothing but a drain on the economy. It would be more efficient to not have them.
I don't only care about the economy. I care about sentient beings, right? So I obviously
Okay,
think
so now
the
we're
sentient
working.
beings
Now
have a
we're
right to be
working. They're
protected.
different things, right? We got morality and we've got efficiency. They're two.
I understand. Yes, I know. I
So,
understand.
so you don't want to kill people, but you're cool with stealing their shit.
I don't think it's stealing, but I think you can define it as stealing.
It literally
I would
is
just say
stealing. It's
is not wrong
exactly
enough.
stealing. How does it not meet
No,
the
I know it's
definition? Let's
The
look up the
definition
definition
of what?
Of stealing, of theft. Theft.
I don't know. Taking something that you're not legally entitled to.
Because you want it. Right?
Taking something that you're not legally entitled to, I think, is probably some definition of theft. But I can accept the premise that taxation is theft or whatever. I just think that doesn't make taxation bad.
You don't think
You
it's
have to justify why taxation is actually bad. Why it's
No.
not a utility maximizing thing. I think that obviously, absent a social safety net, absent a taxation and redistribution system, there will be some people who are just totally fucked over. There will be disabled people who are just totally fucked over and won't be able to buy food. There will be single mothers. There will be, times in recession where a lot of people are fucked over because no one can get a fucking job. I think that's horribly immoral, and I think it's more
People
moral.
are going to be fucked over either way, right? Somebody's getting fucked over.
I think one world is better than the other on the whole. I think the world in which there is some tax.
I understand. That's my point exactly. You think you know better what people who earn their money should do with their money because you're a hypocrite and a narcissist.
It's not true at all.
But
I think
here's something
that I support. Yes, I think are utility maximizing.
Here's something that you need to
all the
understand.
Programs I support involve taxing people.
Do you
I don't think it
understand?
makes me a hypocrite at all. By the way, telling people how to use their money, whatever, it's not like, I think it's more moral for Jeff Bezos to donate to a charity than it is for Jeff Bezos to, like, I don't know, kill a bunch of dolphins. I don't think that's a controversial.
Wouldn't it be
statement to say.
most
It doesn't
moral
make
for
me-
you to fuck off of his money altogether because it's not yours?
No, because I don't believe in the fucking NAP, bro. I don't know, like, I don't know what to tell you.
God, I wish that I would so steal shit from you if you were close to me. Do you understand that an institution, a government, whatever, that starts off in step one not respecting individual human rights will never respect them all the way up. So if your first step is to disregard someone's individual rights or right to property by stealing from them, that ever after that they're not just going to disrespect human rights once and then be all good after that. You know that, right?
I mean, I if I don't believe that you are entitled to, if I don't believe in desert theory, like you're kind of fucked here, right? Because you understand, I fundamentally don't believe that you have these innate individual rights or whatever. Or certainly, even if I grant that we do have them, it doesn't mean that it's utility maximizing.
Let's not get hung up on whether or not rights exist. I get it. Okay, we could debate that. But somebody who violates your right or violates your ownership of your property, they're not going to start respecting you later. It's like if a chick cheats on you, she's probably going to cheat on you again if you let it slide.
I think the U.S. government right now does a pretty good job at respecting rights for the most part. Maybe not under Trump with these summary deportations that we're getting, but if I fundamentally, you understand from my utilitarian evil perspective why this isn't really a issue for me.
Well, I understand that you have self contradictions within your perspective because you think you're a utilitarian who thinks it's atrocious to kill disabled people, but
you recognize that that's not a contradiction, right? Because I don't think it's utility maximizing to kill disabled people. You recognize there's no contradiction.
There's no way that keeping all of these mouth breathers alive.
Wait, can I just get you to say the sentence? You think it would be good for society as a whole if we killed all disabled people?
No, because I have more. My morals are consistent the whole way through. No, I believe
the government agrees
you think it would be utility maximizing? You think it would be utility maximizing to kill all disabled people? That's an unironic position.
No, I think that if you're a utilitarian, you think that.
If I may, for 1 second, the irony is that the young fella here, I mean, I'm elaborating. I assume that he understands that they're going to take your resources by force and usually at the point of a
all you guys
gun.
are presupposing
Hold on.
entitlement philosophy.
You guys talk to me. Hold on.
I have a disagreement with the entitlement philosophy. Like,
be respectful, young fella. I'm just, dude, I'm fast. All right. I don't want to disrespect you.
Condescending.
I'm already trying not to hit on you, so stop. All right.
Oh my God.
Well, once I figured out he was legal, I'm like, all right, it's fair game.
No, 10th man just won.
Congratulations.
You understand? You're saying the government's going to take these resources
Sir,
by
just
force.
give me a second.
I don't.
Hold on.
You understand? Wait, I know. I want to answer this. You understand? If I don't believe that you're entitled to those resources in the first place, that's not a problem for me, right?
You don't believe in ownership of
I
property?
agree with Flo that he should steal your stuff.
I don't believe.
But
I don't
just
believe
listen.
in Zer's
Just listen.
theory.
If the government is going to use the point of a gun to take your stuff, that's why that's Joe. Story. So that's why Flo's use. I'm really tired and stoned. That's why Flo's using the analogy of eradicating the disabled, is because
not why.
If why? How can you not see the parallel there? You're willing to use the point of a gun to take his stuff.
Taxes are not theft in a democracy.
He's trying to use it as a reductio to utilitarianism, as if I haven't heard it before. But like,
That's
obviously, I just don't believe I obviously don't believe it's net utility.
It's not a reductio ad absurdum. That's not.
No, that's but in a democracy,
the whole taxes thing is crazy because our nation was founded on like fighting over taxes, and now we tax our people more than anything. Like,
wait, saying your view entails this crazy thing that we
it was over not being taxed without representation.
Right.
Oh, so you think the taxing we have now is
right?
represented by the people, for the people, by the people?
Who do you think has a right to something I make?
Me.
I think it. I mean, it depends. I don't know if I believe in rights as like this innate, like fundamental thing, but there are certain things
you believe in
that are
some rights. You believe in right to life because you don't want me to take that from disabled
What is happening right now?
I believe here's the better way of phrasing it for me. I believe it's
is that we're dealing with a guy that has a 1/4 formed prefrontal cortex, but it's cute. Go ahead.
I believe it's utility maximizing for society to recognize the right, a right to life. I don't know if I would
science
like have any of these rights. I don't know if like.
No, rights aren't things that literally exist, but they're basically kind of loose agreed upon values, right? I mean,
right. So
whatever. It's a filler word. Don't get hung up on the word right. We know what we're talking about. I think, right?
Yeah. So I think it's utility maximizing for society to basically, act like we have a right to life or whatever. I think that's an overall good thing for society. In the same way, I think it's an overall good for society to tax and redistribute some wealth.
Do you have a right to property?
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if you have a positive right to property, but I think property rights are generally utility maximizing, and that I think a free market is utility maximizing people.
How can you provide yourself with the means to your right to life to support your right to life if you don't have a right to property?
How can you what? Sorry.
How can you support your own right to life that you believe in if you don't have a right to property? If you don't believe in a right to property, like your own stuff.
I believe in the right to life in the same way I believe in the right to property. The word right is just not a good word to use.
I don't know what you want to
say. Non-fun. It has nothing to do with what you believe in. It has to do with the statutes and the customs of society over time. Yeah. This is how laws are founded. This is why the law is the only thing we have that keeps us separated from animals in the jungle.
No, it's not.
Do you guys not understand that?
What I'm talking about,
you got tossed in a cell. How dare you?
I'm asking his personal values.
Right.
He doesn't even know them because he thinks what he believes.
That's what I'm helping him refine.
A general like property right system. I'm fine with saying that. I don't like the word right there.
Okay. The fact that you guys are having a conversation with Non-Fon and you think you're educating him is the funniest thing about all of this.
The fact that you sit behind an animated icon on YouTube and think you have any superiority is a great example of the rights you're disregarding, Non-Fon.
The rights I'm disregarding? Okay.
I like to use the word disregardlessly.
No, we love you, Non-Fun. When I see your knee shaking, bro, just like don't even worry about it. This place is brutal. They treat me like a shit on their shoes some nights, but you keep coming back.
I just think it's adorable. You people think because you have a diploma that you're smart.
You're a pervert from Canada. You're a pervert from Canada, and you know how to code.
It's adorable.
Doesn't change anything.
That's not what makes me smart, but that is the challenge that was leveled to me.
What'd you say, Grumpus? I heard of you people. What do we mean by you people?
Probably.
Wait, did I say you?
Come on now.
Righteous.
Yeah, I heard you. Like, what do you mean, you people?
Oh God, I hate it when I say you
Righteous
people.
credentialists.
That you people really gets you caught up in a political cancel situation. You know what I mean?
I've been canceled so many times. I'm a dead man.
Speaking of canceling, gentlemen, I'd love to get your final thought. Oh, damn it, Marathon Kev. All right, I'll stay up. I'll stay up a little longer for you.
I refuse to be on this panel with that man.
Well,
Of course,
bye.
because you're scared of him.
Did you just assume his gender, sir?
You're scared of his masculine Black American energy, bro. You're scared of this man, bro.
Wait, is this
Came up to
foundation
ask
Black
one
American?
question.
Because
I just came up to ask one question. This is what Grump said. What the hell you mean, you people? Okay.
Wow.
All right, gentlemen, let's get through our final thoughts. Hornet, starting with you, sir.
Yeah, just to comment on that last conversation, if you have a social safety net that essentially feeds to the bottom percentage of people, then they feed into the economy, which increases the amount of spending power that company now has, which ultimately benefits them. It's just simple economics. Like when you empower your dollar, that's how it works.
What do you think rich people?
Well, I thought this was my final thoughts, Flo.
Flo, come on.
He can't do final thoughts and open up a whole new can of bullshit.
Well, you guys were talking a lot. Yeah, that's just the simple economics of it all. That's why I don't think that.
My final thoughts are you're gay.
Okay. Oh, based.
I just came thrice.
Remember to hit that like button and go sub up to Avoided Hornet on YouTube.
Clean up your mess, bad boy.
All right, Sarah, thank you for having me on.
Always, Hornet, always. Rob.
Hey. Okay, yeah. It's just been listening to Nonfun here. It's kind of hard to take your moral claims, your value claims seriously. You say you love America and everything, then you also describe yourself as a globalist, which, in my opinion, is completely antithetical. Those two.
Debate me. Set up a debate anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm down. Honestly, I'd be down to do that financial one, whatever you were talking about earlier. I'll throw my hat in the ring, possibly a Discord message, whatever. But yeah, no. So I just don't believe in any of that. It really doesn't work if you're just going to create some massive social safety net, considering we already have one. Like, one, if you're just going to expand it, it's like, does it really work? Is it really like a net utility maximizer in the way that you think it is? If you're taking away, like Flo says, taxes from the individual who, like, their property rights are just, they don't really count anymore. If you're just going to keep constantly chipping away at all their finances, like, doesn't really seem like a cogent position. Yeah, and I just, again, love to possibly do that debate. I'll send a message, but thanks for having me on, Sarah. It's been great.
As always, Rob. Thank you. Effigy to you.
Final thought. You just heard some of the most childish fucking takes on basic society in modern times. Like going back like 2,000 years to argue against the fucking idea of taxation is kind of ridiculous at this point. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for having me on. Always great arguing with all you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Effigy. Always a blast having you. 10th man to you.
Started today. Really mad at Trump. Hated him. I recall him explaining, and I don't know everything about history because, like I said, I'm not a rocket surgeon. But he explained that the country of America was set up that there weren't supposed to be taxes. There were only supposed to be tariffs. So if they're going to take your taxes and then they're going to say, oh, go make this movie about penises turning into vaginas and stuff. Let's do that. Then I don't want you taking any money from my taxes anymore.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, 10th man. We appreciate having you on. Grumpelstiltskin to you.
Yes, ma'am. Oh. We're closing. Outstanding. Yes, I am a Grumpelstiltskin on all platforms. On Twitch, it's spelled a little bit differently. That's why I have it there and then there. I just with work, I've not been doing content as much lately. I'm trying to get the things set up to get back into having time for it. the funny thing is, personal earned income taxes on a federal level didn't exist until the early 1900s. How did we ever afford roads before then? Well, maybe we get back to that, but the things don't exist in a vacuum. Tariffs, yeah, the everything, the short term, yeah, it's probably going to be like ripping a Band-Aid off, but it doesn't exist in a vacuum. All of these things, we talk about them like they're in a vacuum. You got to look at the big picture and the long term. Other countries, some other countries, I won't name the specific ones, everybody knows, they look at things generationally, like, hey, how is this going to impact us in 100 years? That's maybe instead of the United States, where we judge things based on this quarter and next quarter. Maybe check that out. I talk about prepper stuff. We use zombies as a catch-all for like preparedness and things. I do pew-pew stuff and sometimes games and like generally dad advice because I'm old enough to be some of y'all's grandpappy. But sub to Sarah, hit like on everybody's stuff. I'm live right now. I'm just doing a tech test. Don't do anything with me. Sub to non-fawn, hit like on his. I don't go give Powdered Donut a like also, and send him a super chat because he's probably going to be dusty right now. Mm-hmm. But it's been great, Sarah. Thanks for having me on. I know I came in late. Y'all have a great night.
Certainly. Thank you, Grumple. We always enjoy having you on too. You're always like the goofy one-liner, throw it in there kind of person. Makes me chuckle. Non-fawn to you.
Jesus. Okay. So real quick, tariffs or taxes. You can't replace taxes with tariffs because tariffs just can't raise that much revenue. And also they are still taxes and they are regressive taxes, meaning they tax the poor more than the rich. When they were used as a major source of revenue, government spending was like 3% of GDP. The government just didn't do much. Secondly, when it comes to this whole welfare NAP nonsense thing, whenever these people are talking about stealing and talking about, taxes or theft or any of this shit, they're jamming into their definition of theft, their theory of entitlement, their desserts theory of entitlement, which is you own yourself and what you produce. I think that it sounds good in theory, just like basically every ideology does. I think it has some very negative entailments, and I think it doesn't really make sense, partly because we don't know what, first of all, we can't even calculate what people produce. That's literally impossible. It's the same problem that Marx's labor theory of value has, by the way, the joint production problem, and you literally can't calculate it. And it has some horrible negative entailments. Look up like the flagpole reductio NAP. If you want to watch me defend globalization on my stream because it increases income, increases jobs, benefits the US, benefits our allies as well. Okay. Head over to Nonfon on YouTube, NONFON, or Nonfon420 Torch a Kick. A lot of debates uploaded on the YouTube channel. Sarah's in some of them, Grumple's in some of them. As you go, check them out because they're really cool. Thanks for having me on, Sarah.
Thank you, Non-Fawn. And Non-Fawn, I have so much respect for you. You're always incredibly intelligent and wise. There's a lot of disagreements I can see why people have on things you say, but I know you come from a place that's definitely well-researched, and I have a very big respect for that. I always appreciate having you on. When you come on, I know the brains come out. So outside of that, everybody, I'm so excited that you made this holiday special especially special. I didn't expect a big showing. I didn't expect a huge panel, but you guys kept it rocking and rolling all evening. Excuse me. Don't forget, you are currently watching, well, some of you, most of you are watching from the Gauntlet. That is now my second channel. All of our open panels will be redirected over to here post debates. So if I have a Mod Monday debate over on the Raging Tomato, pretty soon it will just cut off at the open panel, and open panel will start and kick off on the Gauntlet. So you want to ensure you are subscribed to both of them. That way you can enjoy the chat and so on and so forth and get the notifications. Also, if I'm just going into open panel or shit talking, drama stirring, all of those fun things, I will only be doing that on the Gauntlet here soon. So it's going to be a very big, vast separation of shows and styles. And you'll see that as it begins to happen and come into play. So thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for following the redirect over to the Gauntlet. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching from Powder Dusty, Grumble Stillskin, and I believe Non-Fon, you're connected as well. We're super excited you're all here. If you haven't liked, subscribed, shared to any of the people that have been on the panel this evening, then you are fucking wrong and you can fuck off.
A long time ago, in a YouTube world full of keyboard warriors, many monsters and trolls lurked in the chat rooms. They thrived on arguments amongst each other until one day, a heroine rose from the ashes. She was made from the tears of beta bitches and the sweat of alpha male gym guys. Throughout the centuries, this keyboard warrior princess showed up in many forms. She slayed many demons along the way. By the light of the moon, she led the simp army into battle. Wielding her sword, she fought through the dark forests. With each new era, the monsters evolved. The keyboard warrior princess grew stronger, with new skills to bring them down. The world around her advanced, but so did she. Her heroism became known to society as technology advanced. And with each new generation, she had to learn how to blend in to keep her identity hidden. Now known as the Raging Tomato, this keyboard warrior princess fights for justice in every debate. She fights for freedom, for moderator bias, and she fights for your ability to battle on an open panel for your beliefs. She protects the simp troopers from destruction. She fights to create peace among troll wars. She storms the battle zones without hesitation and leaves the battleground with her pockets full of souls. Are you ready to battle your fellow trolls? Are you ready for a moderator to give you time to talk? Are you ready for justice, peace, and a fair fight? Tune in every Monday night to watch your friends duke out their issues, or join the open panel so that you can fight the good fight and find resolution with your peers.